And it is my pleasure to be spending time right now with Mr. Warren Tolman, candidate for Massachusetts Attorney General. Warren, welcome to Cape Cod.
Thank you, Michael. Nice to be with you.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Oh, pleasure's mine, really. You have a very exciting and engaging race going on for Attorney General, and you're bringing not only, you're bringing a lot of public service background in your resume. Can you talk about your resume and your bio?
Sure. So I grew up in Watertown. I'm the seventh of 8 kids. My mom and dad started our family over in a Fidelis Way housing project over in Boston. Grew up in Watertown, went to the Watertown schools. First in my family to go to college. Went to Amherst College in BC Law and spent a lot of time, Michael, down on Old Cape Cod, having a lot of fun. My parents bought my aunt's house over in Harwich, and my brother and I bought it. It's just a 2-bedroom over in South Harwich, but we bought it in 1992, so we've owned it for over 20 years now, and have had a lot of fun moments on this part of our great state.
I'll bet. It's a fun place to be, especially in the summer, and Harwich is a great town to be from, so we're so glad to hear you have some strong Cape ties here. But statewide, you've also been very active in the state legislature. You've taken some very progressive stances on some issues. Did you want to talk about those a little bit?
Sure. Yeah, I served in the House and the Senate, took on some tough battles, frankly applying the lessons that my parents taught us to stand up for what you believe in and to fight hard. And I took on the tobacco industry long before it was popular. They were preying on young kids. 90% of people who smoke started smoking before they reached the age of 19. And we set them back, and they hadn't been beaten for many years. And the American Cancer Society liked my work so much they sent me around the country. Rush Limbaugh attacked me on national radio because he didn't like my work. That's how I knew I was doing something right, Mike. But also worked on campaign finance reform, and I see the pernicious influence of big money and special interests on the political process as an evil thing, and we need to try to do what we can to make it about values and not about money. Worked on early childhood education and was successful in a number of initiatives, domestic partnerships back then. That was the what we were searching for and reaching for, and then also the address confidentiality law that I passed was important and has saved the lives of people who are victims of domestic violence. I'm very proud of that as well, Michael. So I had a lot of good successes in the legislature, and I was happy with my time when I really thought I was making a difference.
Well, these are experiences and skills that certainly you can bring to the office of Attorney General. So we're encouraged to see your run. We're encouraged to see your stance on a lot of issues that you could bring with your background, your legal background, your professional background, your political background. In the office of Attorney General, what kind of impact do you think you can have on legal concerns we have on the Cape and in the state with regard to, say, drug issues or domestic violence? Can you speak to those a little bit? Because these would be in the bailiwick of the Attorney General under your watch if you were elected.
Absolutely. A couple things. First of all, we have a mental health and an opiate addiction crisis here in Massachusetts. Mental health and substance abuse is something that is supposed to be treated under the laws of the Commonwealth, under our nation's law, under mental health parity, and it's not, Michael. What we're doing, unfortunately, is if there's a bed available, we'll treat the person, but all too often there is not a bed available. The person goes back on the street, and we've seen the results of that, where people have died or people have had overdoses that otherwise potentially could have been saved. So we ought to make mental health parity mean mental health parity. We ought to hold the small number of doctors who are prescribing a large number of these pills accountable, hold Big Pharma accountable so that they produce these drugs in tamper-resistant form, and also teach our young kids, both in middle school and junior high and high school, about the dangers of dealing with some of these pills. That's a real issue that I can use my leadership skills really in a way that I don't think we've seen to try to move this issue forward to the forefront and address it so that we stop this scourge from continuing to take place in every city and town in the Commonwealth. On domestic violence, I want to, there's a particular issue which I've highlighted and talked a lot about. It's not necessarily domestic violence, but sexual assaults on college campuses, which has been in the papers a lot. I released a 5-point plan several months ago ahead of this issue, because it's hard to believe, Michael, that a woman today is more likely to be the victim of sexual assault if she goes to college than if she doesn't. And that's a real indictment of what we're doing when we're sending kids to get educated. I want to change that. I'm going to have a summit. If I'm elected Attorney General in January, I'd be sworn in, have a summit in march, have all the college campuses present, and talk to them about best practices and talk to them about teaching their faculty, their staff, and most importantly, their young men and women about what they can do to prevent these assaults from taking place.
Well, such a timely and present issue, especially for the state of Massachusetts, where we lead the nation in college education.
Absolutely. We have more college campuses and more people per capita in college here than anywhere else in the world. I just want to make those best colleges and universities the safest. And that's what we can do, because if a young woman works hard, studies, gets into a good school, and her parents and her are able to cobble together the financing to go to school, we ought to ensure that they're safe, Michael, and that's what this is about. You know, it's a fundamental promise, and you know, we have a lot of problems, consumer protection issues, which I want to deal with, the gun violence issue that I want to focus on, and I think in a proactive way, having an Attorney General who's ready to roll up one's sleeves and address these issues will do a lot to help this great state become even better.
Oh, I've heard three resounding themes that came through in your words. You talked about the enforcement measures that are able to be used by the Office of the Attorney General, the education that needs to go forward to help people to understand how best to use those, and then excellent leadership. Right. You know, you have a background in that, and you hope to bring that to the campaign. So, of course, we wish you the best of luck. Whatever help we can give you as Cape and Island Democrats, we offer, and we would love to hear more about your campaign as it continues.
Thank you, Michael. You know, the Cape Democrats have been awesome. I'm the only candidate in this race who's been endorsed by an environmental organization. I've also been endorsed by all 4 living former attorney generals, which is quite an honor for me. Frankly, I'm humbled by that, because for these people, it's their political legacy. It's what their highest office that they have attained. And the fact that they all agree that I'm the best person is really humbling to me. So I'm honored by the support of my friends down here on the Cape. I look forward to working and earning people's respect and confidence at the convention in September and then in November, and I'll prove you right when I get to the opportunity, hopefully, to serve as your next Attorney General.
Well, we're looking forward to you embracing that opportunity. So we'll see you on the campaign trail. Thank you so much, Warren Tolman.
Thank you. Thanks for your time. I appreciate it very much. Thank you.